What's up, guys? Welcome to Daily Dose of Reddit. This is your host, Zach, and today's subreddit is r/IDontWorkHereLady. Alright, this story's called Drunk Karen Story. This took place before smartphones and the like in the late 90s. To understand this story, you must know that the company that printed the local phone books did misprint a local locksmith's number wrong in the book. That was a redundant statement. Where we lived, all the numbers started with 421, my birthday, 423, 2 days after my birthday, or 425, that's 4 days after. I can accept late birthday presents in the form of unpopped popcorn kernels. And my grandparents' number was 423-5625. Okay, you're doxing your grandparents, boo. And the locksmith's was 421-5625, which spelled lock. Ha! Ironically, I got to hear both sides of the story because my friend's parents were the locksmiths. Well, the solution, so no one had to change numbers, was the locksmith bought and installed an answering machine at my grandparents' house and recorded the following message. Hello, you have reached the residence of Mr. and Mrs. Jones. If you are trying to reach A1 Lock, there was a mistake in the phone book. Please call 421 Lock, and we will be glad to help you. Great customer service. What we would just do was my grandparents would let everything go to the machine set to only 2 rings, and if it was for them, we would just say something like, Grandma, it's me, pick up, and they would then answer. Also of note, during the summers, I would stay at my grandparents' house because I would help my grandpa on the ranch, and we would get up at 5:30, and it was just easier for me to stay there than him to drive and pick me up. Sounds like a great time, honestly. I'm not even capping. Well, the summer after this misprint, at about 1:45 a.m., I hear Grandpa getting upset from the room I was in and went to see what was up. I see him on the phone repeatedly saying, Look, lady, you have the wrong number. Call 421. After about the 5th time I hear him say that, he slams down the phone. To calm down, he tells me that he woke up to use the restroom and stretch his bad knee and heard the phone ringing. It would ring twice, the machine would get it, but the person was hanging up before it barely said hello, and they would call back. So he answered to just tell them to call the correct number because apparently it must have been important because he heard it happen 5 to 6 times in a row. Once on the phone, a very drunken lady refused to believe that the phone company would ever misprint the numbers in the phone book and demanded to talk to the owner because she knows him personally. This entire time he was telling me this, the phone is doing the hang up and redial. With this being my friend's family's company, I didn't want them to lose the business, so the next time it rang, I answered and told her I was the after-hours phone service and got the location. She had locked her keys in the car, and then I just called the correct number, told them what happened, and gave them the information. Here is where the fun begins. The next day after the ranch work, I went over to that friend's house, which was normal. We all kinda hung out there. While there, his brother walks up to me to tell me what happened when I hung up. Apparently, before going to call her to confirm the location and to approve the pricing of $35 for the unlock plus a $20 after-hours service fee, she agreed and he got in the van and went. Since this is very easy to do, it only took him about 2 minutes to unlock the car, but notice the woman was very drunk and the key seemed to be a spare on a ring by itself. When she saw it only took him a couple of minutes to unlock, she refused to pay, saying he was price gouging her. He simply tossed the key back in the car, locked the door, and closed it, stating she will have to pay a second unlock and service fee now. Her response? Call the cops and scream at him about how she is best friends with the owner and he was going to get fired. He had no clue who she was and just let her scream without saying he is the owner's son. When the cops arrived, they took both stories and sided with him. They made her pay him all the money in advance before they let him unlock the car. She quickly grabs the key, hopped in the car, and started to drive off, only to immediately get pulled over for drunk driving the moment she hit the street. She even pulled back into the parking lot. It was so fast. Apparently, the bar had confiscated her keys for being too drunk to drive, and that was in fact her spare he got out. She was arrested for a DUI and the police had the car impounded. Karma is a bimbo. Abso-freaking-lutely hilarious, man. Drunk driving is bad. I know, I'm brave for saying it, but someone has to. Like, if I have to end up like many of the other great journalists that are exposing the truth for you people, then so be it. But right now, I'm taking a stand and telling you that drunk driving is bad and many innocent people die because of it. Guess what, guys? It is so much easier to not drive drunk than it is to drive drunk. Like, you can ask any scientist, mathematician, or even a freaking acupuncturist. Hell, I'm sure even a sculptor might agree. Dare I say a fish scientist? I'm sure a freaking pencil manufacturer could agree with this state. And as you know, these are the foremost authorities in driving difficulty levels. Sure, I'm totally the manager. First of all, I'm on mobile and using voice to text to dictate this while I drive home from work, so I'm sorry if it's a little bit messed up, and no, I'm probably not going to go back and fix it. I debated for a bit on if I was gonna post this story here or entitled People. Why not both? That's not object. Shh. I obviously decided to post it to IDontWorkHereLady. I work in the IT field for a school district, and I have to dress business casual. This can have a little bit of leeway to it, but I generally wear some type of tan hiking shoe, 10 cargo pants, and either an untucked button-up shirt or I guess what I would call a golf shirt. I suppose that at some stores I could maybe be mistaken for like a manager or something like that maybe. So I went to Home Depot today because I had to get some wire and some switches and just some random things for work. So I'm walking around with a few things in my hands on this particular day wearing a blue golf shirt. I'm just minding my business when I round the corner and yelling at a kid who clearly doesn't work there. What? Remain objective. They obviously meant that. Okay. Being a noisy bastard. Okay, I'm gonna have to take some liberties. Okay. Screw the whole objective thing. Back to regular business. Being a nosy bastard, I decide to listen in from a bit of a distance. Apparently, this kid had the audacity to not help her get something off of a shelf, in that he was a disgrace to the store, and that if he didn't do something about it, she was never going to shop there again. Clearly, this was an IDontWorkHereLady moment, and I was just enjoying watching it until she looked at me. As soon as she looked at me, I could see that evil witch grin form across her nasty lips and her yellow teeth. I'm just imagining the yellow teeth, because with everyone wearing masks, you never know. When I hear her saying, with a loud voice, "Finally, here comes the manager. I'm gonna have you fired," I look behind me real quick just to see if she's referring to me, and she was. I do the pointing at my chest questioningly type of move just to make sure she was talking to me. Of course, that just annoyed the wild Karen, that she responded with something like, "Of course I'm talking to you." So I walk over there, kind of joy myself at this point. Okay. I put on my best customer service face and mocking voice and hit her with a, "How can I help you today, ma'am?" Restart ranting and raving about how the kid was so disrespectful and wouldn't help her, and about how he's a racist, which kind of threw me off because both of them were white, but whatever. And I swear that if we were not all wearing masks right now, my shirt would have been drenched with spit and probably some denture cream. Ugh, cream. Sorry, I'm lactose intolerant. I'm getting goosebumps. So I look at this kid who's looking like he's freaking petrified and obviously faking it because he knows I don't work there. And I know I don't work there, and I clearly know that he doesn't work there. Everybody knows we don't work there except for this lady. So I look at him and I say, "You, come with me. We're gonna handle this out back. How dare you sit there and not take care of a customer?" And then I walk away with him. He thanks me for getting him out of that situation and then runs off to what I assume was probably his trade boss, because the kid looked like a tradesman. Traitor. Dirty jeans, worn boots, you know, the kind of look you just know somebody works in a trade, which makes sense if they're at a Home Depot. So you might be sitting there thinking that the woman is all alone now in the aisle, thinking that she is won. From the next aisle I picked over through the shelving and saw that is where she stood for the most boring 15 minutes of this year I have had. You could tell she was just looking around, expecting that the manager was gonna come back until some portal wearing an orange Home Depot apron walked by and she saw them and yelled out to them. I just walked away because I actually had to get back to work, listening to her and other confusion questions about where the manager went. A few minutes go by and I'm just cashing out in line as the woman runs up to me and demands to know why I just left her in the aisle and starts talking about how I am a terrible manager and that she wants to talk to the district manager of the store. I just start laughing and while over-exaggeratingly point with both hands to the guy who just finished cashing me out, saying that this gentleman here who actually works here can help you, but unfortunately I must go as my actual job needs me. Then I walked away like a frickin' idiot and clearly acting like it. It was the kind of thing that in your head sounds like it's gonna be really funny to do, and then when you do it, you realize just how stupid it was. I thought it was gonna be some big comedic action, and instead it was just stupid. But in a way, that's kind of even more funny because now this woman who clearly thought was a mature adult manager just acted like a frickin' idiot and then kind of like pranced out of the store. Okay, that was really funny. The text-to-speech just adds to it. Voice-to-text. Oh, sorry, that was probably what you might call a Freudian slip because I read a conspiracy theory in the comments that I, indeed, actually do not know how to read and that I just follow along with a TTS thing. And you couldn't be more right. Sorry, left. Sorry, the TTS is kind of stupid sometimes. Like, I have a script. I'm revealing too much. This story's called I Don't Work Right Now. If this gets popular, maybe I'll dig in my head for some other retail stories. Please do, my friend Slav92. You keep doing them squats in them tracksuits, my friend. Is that offensive? So I used to work at Staples or Bureau Anglais, as they call it here in Quebec. Masterful pronunciation, my friend. Thank you. Not to anger Quebec's French language mafia. In the technology department, I was giving it my all in the first year, only to realize that my pay won't get any better if I squeeze out one more extended warranty. I still was doing a good job, just not overdoing it and knowing when to say no. Here's the cast. There's me, Aisha, supervisor, colleague. It was a kinda busy day, and due to a precise break schedule, mine was due. I told my colleagues and my supervisor, went to the back area, clocked out, relevant, put on my jacket, and went to go outside for some fresh air. Unfortunately, I made a huge mistake. I didn't close my jacket all the way, so my red shirt was showing a bit. Here comes Richard, or Richard. Richard in French. I'm so good. He spots me and says, You work here. Come help me find this cartridge. Sorry, sir. I'm on my break. One of my colleagues will be happy to help you. Richard, while throwing hands in the air. Oh, he is on his break. So sorry to bother you on your break. Me, done with customer crap. Look, I'm not currently being paid to respond to your questions. So if you'll excuse me, I have to go on my timed break. One of my colleagues will answer you. Richard looks at me with outrage. I hear him yelling something that I didn't quite get because I was already outside, so I didn't pay attention. I went to grab something from my car and went back into the store. Richard was at the tech counter doing a lecture about customer service to one of my colleagues. Colleague who's visibly confused. I needed to grab something from behind the counter. He looked at me and was like, he doesn't know customer service. Service? I don't know. Me, now irritated and without a single care. Would you stop pestering employees? If you have a complaint, go to the manager. And went to the back. On my way there, I remembered that my supervisor was a douche, and so got a bit nervous about what I said. Here comes colleague. colleague is also a disgruntled employee in the tech aisle who the customer asked to see a manager. Instead of taking him to my dumb direct supervisor, he went to the supervisor of the copy center. Supervisor who was technically higher on the managerial hierarchy. At this point, I wanted to be present for the chaos that would ensue. I came in as the customer was yammering on about how disrespectful I was and how I disrespected the Staples banner and customer rights and blah blah blah. The supervisor was in the copy center with a bunch of paper in her hand. Okay, so it's a woman. Okay, cool. Different voice. Listening to the complaint and nodding. She looked at me and said to the customer,
"Is he the employee you're talking about?"
"Yes."
"Was he on break?"
"How am I supposed to know?" Supervisor looks at me.
"Were you on break?"
"Yes."
"How were you dressed?"
I proceed to show her how I had my jacket on with a small bit of red showing.
"Well, I'm sorry, but he was on break, so he wasn't obligated to answer you."
"Is this how you treat customers at Staples? I spent a lot of money here." That's German. "You are disrespecting your labor. If nothing is done about this, I will never shop at this Staples again." I look at supervisor. She just shrugs in the most innocent way possible. Risha slams his empty ink cartridge on the counter and proceeds to stomp out, fuming. Supervisor looks at me with a slight annoyance.
"That was a little uncalled for. Get back to work."
"Yes, ma'am." Well, I'm still on my break, though.
"So go finish it in the back and close your damn jacket."
"Yes, ma'am." All my tech colleagues got a huge laugh, and they were proud of me. I went on to work there for 6 more months before finding a better job that doesn't have to do with sales, Karens, and Richards. Well, yeah, we did have a Richard for president not too long ago, and y'all know how that went. And he earned the nickname Old Tricky Dick, cause that's short for Richard. Don't ask me how. I think it's still cool though. And you know what? The whole reason why the name Dick is cool to me is because Dick Grayson, you know, the first Robin, even though his costume was a little concerning looking back, you know, him as Nightwing, he's a badass, so Dick's not a bad name to have. And also Fun with Dick and Jane, that's a cool movie. I watched it when I was probably too young to watch it, now that I think about it. Thank you, Mom, I love you. Alrighty, this story's called Karen versus Firefighter. We had a Karen at a festival that I work at. We have volunteers and firefighters directing traffic. I'm a firefighter, and this Karen was just letting this girl who was directing traffic have it. This girl was a freshman at my high school. When I walked over, I asked what was wrong. The girl was starting to cry. The Karen started yelling at me, calling me a jackass because I was defending my friend, and I had no right to interfere. I'm a 220-pound firefighter and have the voice of a drill sergeant. At that point, I lost it. I basically said, "Oh God, I'm tired. I'm too tired." Okay. "Get the frick out before that sheriff's deputy drags you out for harassing a minor!" I said that all so loudly that the chief who was in the command unit in most of the festival heard me, and I was about 600 yards from them. Karen was escorted out by the sheriff's deputy and was banned. The chief said, "Well, if we ever need a loudspeaker, I know who I'm calling." Gave me a pat on the back and some lemonade because I lost my voice. I wonder why. But you did save the day, so that's good. That took a lot out of me. The stuff I do, that was unnecessary though. Thank you for sharing, firefighter man. You're a badass.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell to never miss an episode.